I'm going to share some insights for improving workplace performance based on Marshall Goldsmith's latest book, and I'll point out how you can use our performance measurement software, 2020 Insight, to gather feedback and measure results. Marshall Goldsmith is an expert at helping senior leaders overcome habits that adversely affect their performance so they can achieve higher levels of success. He's worked with more than 80 CEOs from Fortune 500 companies and is considered by many to be America's top executive coach. Marshall Goldsmith's ambition is identical to 2020 Insight's purpose: to help people achieve long-term positive behavior change. You'll see how the software supports Goldsmith's recommended strategies. Marshall Goldsmith has authored 23 books. His latest, What Got You Here Won't Get You There, offers the best practical treatment of behavior change that we've ever read. If you're involved in helping others improve workplace performance, or if you're interested in experiencing greater personal success, this could be the most important book you read this year. The first half of the book covers 20 habits that create the most problems for colleagues. The remaining chapters describe what to do about them. You'll learn how to change your behavior to eliminate these issues for good. I'll focus on 6 of Goldsmith's points that can help you make permanent changes in your behavior at work. You start with getting feedback, so you have an accurate picture of the way your coworkers see you. Other key elements include thanking people for their input and suggestions, apologizing for mistakes, advertising or telling everyone what you plan to do to improve, following up to find out if you are improving, and using a concept called Feedforward to get additional ideas from colleagues. According to Goldsmith, the best way to find out what you need to work on is to ask your coworkers using confidential 360-degree feedback. The 360 feedback process involves gathering input from the people who work with you and are affected by your behavior, typically your boss, peers, and direct reports. With 2020 Insight, you can collect feedback about literally any area of workplace performance. Goldsmith says to focus on improving just one issue. You should pick the one that will make the biggest difference in your relationship with the people you impact. Displayed here is one of the many 2020 Insight report options. To find out which habit you need to change, look for your lowest rated item. In this manager's 2020 Insight report, users' consideration and tact when voicing disagreement received the lowest score, 4.75 on a 10-point scale. In combination with a low score, Goldsmith advises that you also find an item that most of your coworkers agree you need to address. The numbers circled in yellow show the distribution of the ratings. 6 out of 8 people, or 75%, rated this item 5 or lower, indicating strong concurrence that this is the priority area for development. Notice another thing about this item. The manager's self-rating is 8, while the average rating from everyone else is 4.75. This kind of gap represents a blind spot. The manager thinks this behavior is a strength and doesn't realize it's creating a problem for others. Goldsmith explains why it's so important to be aware of these blind spots. 2020 Insight collects comments as well as ratings, so people get quantitative and qualitative data. This powerful combination can help you understand why people gave you the ratings they did. This understanding is the first step to recognizing the need to change. The information in your feedback report prepares you to complete 2 powerful and often overlooked steps in the process of changing your behavior. First, expressing appreciation. Without trying to find out who gave a specific rating or comment, thank your raters individually for taking time to give you such valuable feedback. Think of every comment as a gift to help you see what others want from you. Next, apologize for any behaviors that have had a negative impact on others and express your commitment to improve. Goldsmith devotes a separate chapter to each of these actions because they have such power to strengthen work relationships and build trust. It's hard to change people's perceptions of who you are. Their prior experience with you has formed long-held opinions that aren't easy to alter. Even after you start working to change your behavior, they continue to access their ingrained image of you. If they're asked to give feedback about your behavior a year from now, your scores might not go up, even though you've worked hard to change. That's because they're not nearly as focused on your self-improvement goal as you are, so they probably won't notice all the changes that seem so obvious to you. To counter these perceptions, you need to ingrain a new pattern in their brain about your behavior in this area, and Marshall Goldsmith explains how to do this. Just as a marketing person designs an extensive advertising campaign to promote a new product, you need to find a way to bring your self-development efforts into the minds of your coworkers. This means repeatedly telling people what you're working on, asking them how you're doing, and getting their ideas about how you can improve what you're doing. Taking these actions will not only help you improve, it will force others to notice the improvements. Follow-up is a critical part of your change initiative. Goldsmith recommends going back to all your coworkers every 4 to 6 weeks for comments and suggestions. This causes them to focus on your efforts to change and gives them a chance to evaluate your progress. It takes 12 to 18 months to change a behavior, so it's important to remember that becoming better is a process, not an event. In addition to the chapter in this book, Goldsmith published an article in Strategy Plus Business magazine about the follow-up factor in management development. It's entitled Leadership as a Contact Sport, and it's available free on the website shown here. With 2020 Insight, it's easy to measure progress to see if people notice any improvements. You can do a mini survey to get consolidated feedback from your colleagues about the behaviors you've been working on. In this example, the manager received feedback 12 months after the first assessment. The new rating is 7.5, quite an improvement over the 4.75 rating earlier. The difference between the two is shown in the third column. This information gives the manager real evidence that progress has been made. The final strategy is Feedforward. Marshall Goldsmith created this word to describe a simple 4-step process you complete with another person. Feedforward is quite different from feedback. You get feedback from people about something you've already done. It's often viewed as criticism because many times it identifies a problem. By contrast, Feedforward focuses on the future. You ask others for ideas that will help you improve even more. With Feedforward, you do 4 things. First, pick one behavior you'd like to change that would make a significant positive difference in your life. Next, share this goal in one-on-one conversations with people you know, your spouse, child, best friend, boss, or a coworker. They don't have to be experts in the topic or even know you well to be helpful. Third, ask each person to give you 2 suggestions for the future that might help you achieve the positive change you want to make. The only ground rule is there can be no mention of the past. The last step requires that you listen carefully to the ideas and take notes. Don't critique or evaluate the suggestions. Simply say, "Thank you." Here's an example of what you could say. I want to be a better listener. Would you suggest 2 ideas that I can implement in the future that will help me become a better listener? Instead of, or in addition to these one-on-one conversations, you can set up a survey using 2020 Insight to ask Feedforward questions. The questions can ask what improvements the person has noticed and what additional ideas they may have for you to become better at the desired behavior. One executive coach recently told me that he and his partner use the book with every leader they work with now. They're getting observable and measurable results. The leader's colleagues have noticed the changes, and surveys using 2020 Insight confirm the positive improvements. Their clients are telling them that even with the downturn in the economy, they won't cut their coaching budget. Following the strategies Marshall Goldsmith recommends, they've discovered that coaching is now a key productivity and retention tool. I hope you enjoy the book as much as I did. If you'd like more information about 2020 Insight, visit our website and contact us by email or phone.